Aniket and Animesh are two colleagues working in PQ Communications, okay, some company. Each of them earned an investable surplus of rupees 1,50,000. They have 1,50,000 each of them with them. That's it. Right. It's a long question, big story over here. Right. A lot of times these tend to be a little easy as well. Let's see. Now, while Animesh is a risk-averse person, Aniket prefers to go for high return opportunities. Right. Again, this is all story so far. 1,50,000 for each of them. That's it. Animesh uses entire savings in PPF and NSC. Okay, two things over here. The expansion doesn't matter. It is observed that 1/3 of the savings made by Animesh in PPF. Animesh, okay, savings. What is it? 1/3 of the savings made by Animesh in PPF, okay, is equal to 1/2 of his savings in NSC. Equals 1/2 of NSC, right? Animesh over here, PPF divided by NSC, right, is going to be how much? 3 by 2, 3 is to 2. So do I know the total investable surplus 1,50,000 and Animesh invested only in these two. In this ratio, 3 is to 2. That's it. So what is 3 parts and 2 parts? Total of 5 parts is 1,50,000. Each part is 30,000. 30,000 to 3, 90,000 over here and 60,000 over here. And that is for Animesh, right? And then we have Aniket's story starting over here, right? On the other hand, Aniket, something happens. But what's finally asked, difference between the amount invested in NSC by Animesh and Aniket, right? I need some space. Animesh in NSC, we know is how much? 60,000. So 60,000 is what we have as a value here. And we have to find the amount invested by Aniket in NSC. Okay. Now what's the last part of the story here? Aniket distributes his investable funds in the share market, NSC and PPF. Okay. The share market, NSC and PPF, right? All put together is going to come to 1,50,000. It is observed that his investments in the share market exceeds the savings in NSC by 20,000 and PPF by 40,000. This is 20 more than this and 40 more than this. Let's look at it the other way around. If this is X and X is 20 more than this is X minus 20, right? And if this is 40 more than PPF, then PPF is X minus 40. The sum of all of these is going to come to 1,50,000, right? I've ignored the 3 zeros, we'll add them in the end. 3x minus 60 you take there becomes 150 plus 60, which is 210, and x over here becomes 70. What's the amount invested in NSC by Aniket? That's 70, x minus 20, 70 minus 20, which comes to 50,000. That's it. What's the difference between these two? It's not even an interesting growth question, right? It's about just splitting it up. Simple linear equations looks like it's just disguised to be a long question and a tough one, right? You don't need to always ignore them and run away from these. You can give it a shot, right? Why should you give it a shot? Simple values, right? A lot of zeros over here. Answer options all have zeros. Seems like a simple one. So you should give it a go. 60,000 minus 50,000 is what you need to find. That comes to option 4. That's 10,000. That's the answer here. On to question 58. The annual production in cement industry is subject to business cycles. The production increases for 2 consecutive years consistently by 18% and then decreases by 12%, right? So if you had 100, let's say, it has gone up by 1.18 and again, right, into 1.18 because another 18% increase and then a 12% reduction, 0.88, right? Again, in the next 2 years, increase by 18% each year and then decrease by 12% the third year, and this cycle continues. Taking 2008 as a base year, what will be the approximate effect on cement production in 2012? That is 4 years later. So first cycle, second cycle, third cycle, the fourth is again going to be into 1.18, right? When you do this, when you multiply these, what's the value you're going to get? It's going to be definitely an increase. 3 increase of 18%, 1 decrease of 12% is an overall increase. So the decrease options can be ignored. Is it 24% increase or 45% increase? They're quite far apart from each other, right? What's the overall increase going to be, right? Rather than multiplying all of these and wasting time, just understand that the two options are very far apart. As I keep saying, instead of looking at it as a compound interest, right? Compound rate, look at it in simple terms or simple interest, right? And I know that this value has to be greater than that. So in simple terms, what is it going to be? 18 plus 18 for 3 cycles of 18 plus 18, and then 1 of minus 12, right? What are we getting? 54 minus 12, and that's coming to 42, 42% growth. In case of simple interest, if everything is applied on the base value of 100, clearly it's a bit of compounding involved. It's going to be a little more than 42%. Only option over here, which is more than 42%, is 45% increase. Mark that and keep going. Don't waste time in multiplying all of these to get the perfect answer. The objective of this, or the objective of these examinations, or rather the question setter, is to find the smarter people, right? Not the ones who are going to be very quick with these multiplications. Mr. Mishra invested rupees 25,000 in two fixed deposits, X and Y, offering compound interest at 6% per annum and 8% per annum respectively. Okay, and two fixed deposits, compound interest 6% and 8% per annum respectively. Find the total amount of interest accrued in 2 years through both fixed deposits. Right, I have to split this into two parts. Now the total interest we have gotten is 3518. Right, key thing to be noted over here, there's no decimal point. Right, 6% and 8% compound interest. I want you to get used to it. We've been seeing it again and again. In 2 years, we're going to be getting, for 6%, it's going to be 6% plus 6% plus 6% of 6%, which is 0.36%, which comes to 12.36%. Get comfortable with these. In the case of 8% for 2 years, it's going to be 8 twos are 16, be quicker. 8% of 8 is 0.64. 8 into 8 is 64, right? So 0.64%. For instance, 9% for 2 years is going to be 9 plus 9, 18. 0.9% of 9 is 81, 0.81. 18.81%, right? If you're able to quickly write these down, you're going to be quick. Rather than doing 1.09 whole square, which is coming to 1.1881, start looking at it as interest on interest part of it, right? All that's asked over here is for 6%, 8%. You don't need to get into all of these. I'm just giving it for your understanding. 12.36% in one case, 16.64% in another case. So to rewrite this, 0.1236 into some amount plus 0.1664 into another amount is going to give us two values. And these two, when I add them up, I'm going to get 3,518 rupees, right? 25,000 has to be split into two parts over here. And I have answer options. Cannot be determined, doesn't look like it's going to be the case. Now, when I multiply with something, I have to get rid of all the decimal points, right? You're ending with a 6 and a 4. Just look for options where I can get rid of the decimal points. 4 zeros, where do I get 4 zeros? Nowhere. I'm not getting 4 zeros anywhere. But 3 zeros, and this is a multiple of 5. This is interesting and very good. Right? Look at it. If this is 15,000, then what do I get over here? 25,000 minus 15,000, and here I get my 4 zeros. Right? Now you're going to ask me, hey, I'm not getting rid of one of the decimals. You are, right? Because the 3 zeros over here, you got rid of 3 decimals, and then you're left with an even digit over here at the end, multiplied with a 5, and you produce one more zero. So 1664 is what you get for this one. This is the easier part. What about this? 15 into this, right? Divide this by 5, right? Divide this, or rather divide this by 2 and multiply that 2 over here. We're going to get 3 followed by 4 zeros. Divide this by 2, you're going to get 0.0618, right? 618 into 3 is going to be the answer. The 4 zeros, knock off the 4 decimals over here. 618 into 3, 1854. Quick check as to whether you get 3518 when you add it up. 4 plus 4 is 8, 5 plus 6, 1 and 1 carry up, 14 and 5 and 1 carry up, and you get it. That's it. Work with the options. Be smart. Don't try to use variables over here, x 25,000 minus x, and make life difficult for you. 3 years ago, your close friend had won a lottery of rupees 1 crore. He purchased a flat for 40 lakhs, a car for 20 lakhs, and shares worth 10 lakhs. 40, 20, 10 comes to 70 lakhs. He put the remaining money in a bank deposit. That's the remaining 30 lakhs, okay, in a bank deposit. Pays compound interest at 12% per annum, okay, pretty good. If today he sells the flat, the car, and the shares at a certain percentage of their original value, okay, so 70 lakhs into some percentage is what you're going to sell it for, and withdraws his entire money from the bank. The total gain in his assets is 5%. That means he's getting 105 rupees. and 30 rupees, which was there in the deposit under compound interest. Okay, how much is the deposit amounting to into 1.12 whole cube? Now, how do I find 1.12 whole cube? Do I need to be perfect? No, because these options are actually quite far apart, right? So 12% under simple interest is going to give me 36%, but this compound interest has to be a little more than that. Take it as a nice round figure as 40%. 40% is done. Once again, 12% per annum simple interest, right, is going to give us 36% in 3 years, but it's compounding a little more. Bring it to the closest multiple of 10, we get it to 40%. Now 30 into not 1.12 cube anymore, right? We don't need the exact answer, into 1.4 directly. 1.12 cube is close to 1.4. For this reason, compound interest is little more than simple interest, for values like, around 12%, right? So therefore, 30 into 1.4 is coming to approximately 42, right? Or rather, this is precisely 42. 1.4 is an approximation. Now 105 minus 42 is 63. Right, 63. Now the 70 is being sold at a certain percentage of the original value. What percentage of 70 is 63? 9 sevens are 63, 90% over here, right? 0.9 into 70 is going to be 63. 90%, option 3 is the answer for this question. 8 years after completion of your MBA degree, you start a business of your own. You invest INR 30 lakhs in the business that is expected to give you a return of 6% compounded annually. Fine. If the expected number of years by which your investment shall double is 72 by R. For those of you who already know it, it's actually quite a close approximation, right? The best you can when you express in a rational form. This rule of 72, some call it, you can Google on this as well, right? It gives you an approximate number of years in which compound interest doubles, right? It's not very accurate. It's close, right? It's used as a thumb rule types. So 72 by 6%, right? 72 by 6 gives me 12 years, means every 12 years your amount is getting doubled, right? Your principal is getting doubled. What's given here from your business? So what is the approximate expected total value of investment from your business 48 years later? Every 12 years you're doubling. In 48 years, how many 12 years are there? 48 is 4 into 12. You have 4 12-year periods. So 4 times you're going to double. So whatever your principal, you're going to double 4 times, right? Which is 2 power 4, which is 16p. And the p we know is 30, right? 30 lakhs. So 16 to 30 comes to 480 lakhs, which is 4.8 crores, right? Option 3 is the answer here. Swarn, an SME enterprise, borrowed a sum of money from a nationalized bank at 10% simple interest per annum, and the same amount at 8% simple interest per annum from a microfinance firm, right? Same amount, two equal amounts, 10%, 8%, both simple interest, right? So friendly one. Clear the first loan 6 months before the scheduled date of repayment. Wait, both for the same period. There was some scheduled repayment, let's say n years. It was repaid in n minus 0.5 years. 6 months is half a year, right? For the first one, okay? And repay the second loan just at the end of the scheduled period on time in n years itself. If in each case it had to pay rupees 60 to 100 as amount, right? As the amount. So the principal is the same in both cases, okay? Or what is asked, how much money and for what time period? Money and time period. Time period is the same for two of the options, right? The amount is well quite close. Okay, so how do we do this? So we have the principal over here, right? In both cases, you have principal, and the amount is 60 to 100. Let's take the first case, 10% simple interest. Principal plus p into the time period is going to be n minus 0.5, right? N minus 0.5 into how much interest rate? 10%. 10 by 100, right? P and R by 100 equals 62100. The same you can do for the next one. P plus P into N into 8 by 100 equals again 62,100, right? Two variables, two equations, so we can get rid of one of the variables by just dividing. I could have taken a P common, then I'll get a 1 plus this. The same here, P into 1 plus this, right? Dividing the two, right? What are we going to get over here? The p gets cancelled, and we are getting 1 plus n minus 0.5 into 10 divided by 1 plus n into 8, because the 100 also gets cancelled over here, equals 6 to 100 by 6 to 100, which is 1 itself. That's it. Let me continue this over here, right? We're going to get minus 5 plus 1. So therefore 10n minus 4 equals, take this there, and you're going to get 8n plus 1. So we're going to get 2n equals 5, n equals 2.5, right? N is 2.5 over here, so can't be these two. Is it 51,750 or 55,750 is the question, right? Again, the options are quite far apart. The principle, we don't need to really go through this whole process. Just quickly take a look. If it's going to be 2.5 years in, the first one under 10% simple interest, 2.5 minus 0.5 is for 2-year period. In 2 years, if it's 55,750, think about it, 55,750 plus 10% and plus another 10% simple interest, 5575 and 5575, right? This itself is more than 10,000, 11,000 plus. 55 plus 11,000 is going to be more than 60 to 100, right? That's it. Can't be the answer. Has to be option 3. Don't waste time calculating. You need to have a pulse or sense of these numbers. They're quite far apart, right? So you don't need to substitute and prove it and get the exact value. This exam is not about that. It's about answering it as quick as possible by understanding that these values are quite far apart, right? Once again, if you want to find the exact value, ideally I shouldn't be showing you this. It's not even required. Let's say you want that, right? N equals 2.5, you plug into one of these two, right? Let's say we plug it in over here. We're going to get P into 2.5 into 8 is 20. 20 by 100 is 1. 20 by 100 is 0.2. 1 plus 0.2 is 1.2 equals 62100. 1.26 by 5, you take it there and make it 5 by 6. 5/6 of this is going to be how much again? 5/6 of 60,000 is 50,000. 5/6 of 2,100 looks like 1,750. Closer to that. Option 3 becomes the answer here. BSNL offers a share at a premium of rupees 40, whereas its par value is rupees 160. Parul Mehra invested 50,000 in stock. After 1 year, BSNL declared a dividend of 19%. What rate of interest did Miss Mehra, receive on her investment? Right. Now, these are the types of questions which are no longer there. Really this gets covered in finance. But nevertheless, just in case something like this might turn up somewhere or the other, explain to you as to how it works, right? So you have a stock which has been issued by a company. In this case, it's BSNL. The dividend is always declared on the par value, So the dividend declared over here, dividend equals, in this case, also being referred to as the interest, which shouldn't be ideally, but yeah, 19% of 160, knock off 10 over here, 19 to 16, 16 to 20 is 320 minus 16,304 comes to 30.4, right? 30.4 has been declared as dividend, but it offers share at a premium of 40. That means the par value of 160, but they said, I'm not going to sell at 160, I'm going to sell it at 40 plus 160. You have to pay 200 rupees, extra 40 rupees. While the dividend is a percentage given on the par value, right? Again, these questions, I don't see it turning up anymore much, right? Back then in the day, FMS paper. But anyways, if it does, you should know 19% is on the par value, but the amount which Parul Mehra paid was 160 plus the premium of 40, 200 rupees is what she had paid. On that, she's getting a return of 30.4. What is it as a rate of interest? Interest is a bad word to be used. Dividend into 100%. That's write this as a percentage form. Divide this over here. 30.4 by 2 comes to 15.2%. Option 1 becomes the answer here. On to question 64. Delhi Metro Corporation engaged 25,000 workers to complete the project of IP State to Dwarka. Something at the end of first year, 10% workers were shifted to other projects, 10% was out. You had a minus 10%. Then you had a again 5% workers were reduced, minus 5%. However, the number of workers increased by 10%. Then you had a plus 10% at the end of third year to complete the project or the above project in time. What was the size of the workforce during the fourth year? You started with 25,000. Okay, so you just need to apply these, remove 10% of it. That's minus 2,500 and you bring it to 22,500. This is done. Subtract another 5%. 5% is 1 by 20, right? 1 by 20. 1 by 20 of this, one zero is cancelled. Half of 2250 is 1125, right? Subtract that and we get a 21,375. 10% of this is simple, 2137.5. Can you have a decimal? Well, you could, but okay, fine. Let's see where it's taking us. 5 plus 7 is 2, 1 carry up, 10, 11, 1 carry up, and a 5 and a 2, 3. 2, 3, 5, and 2.5 should be the size of the workforce. Closest over here, we have two options. 0.5, need to round it off. Option 4 becomes the answer here.